Ladies and gentlemen, this is Infinite Sauce Talk. It's me, Ralph, again. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate all the feedback in the world that I've been getting from this podcast, this pod. I hate calling it podcast because I feel like I'm super professional about it. This pod that I'm doing and everything, getting all the feedback that people have been giving me. And I'm telling you again, I'm going to try to do it step by step. It's going to be audio only until I can figure out the video part and the people that need to hop on this because I feel like I want to do it right. So at first it's gonna be me talking mad shit, but you know what I'm saying. Like we're going to keep on moving it. We're past the 2 episode threshold where people will give up after a while. They're trying to be consistent with it. I'm working on other things like my clothing line and everything like that. So bear with me. And in the meantime, we're gonna talk about a couple of things that concerns everyday life. And one of the topics that I have today is gonna be called sipping on some haterade. Cause I'm sipping on something like it's some. I ain't gonna shout out the damn drink, but it's an energy drink, and I'm sipping it, and I've just remembered that haterade word. 2000. It's been a while since I used it and whatever, but yeah, sipping on some haterade, hating motherfuckers. And I say it like that is because every single day you encounter somebody hating on somebody, or they're looking at it and they're looking at it in a jealous way. We're not talking about the hating in terms of hate crimes, like if we're in Israel versus Hamas type of thing. We talking about the hating that every person that has some type of swagger, some type of knowledge of the multi-ethnic vernacular or the African American vernacular of hating. It's not the hate where you dislike somebody. I pulled up the definition. I forgot the Urban Dictionary that they have the website. It says hating when one puts down the success or fortune of others due to jealousy. See haterade. She is hating on me because I won the lottery and she did it. That type of hating. Now, the reason this got brought up is because a couple of days ago, somebody asked me a question about my new position at my job that I'm starting next week. And they asked me, how did I get to that position? And I kind of was hesitant about answering the question. But then I said, you know what, let me answer the question as best as I can because the position that I am going into now, I originally wanted that position. So at that time of going into the company, I didn't have, they didn't have any openings or anything like that. So there was another position similar to it, but it had a lot more work applied to that position. And I did that for almost 2 years doing the investigations and all that stuff. And then I was trying to get promoted to a different department and everything. And unfortunately, I didn't get that promotion and stuff like that. So I kept it moving. I was like, I bet, like, we got to figure out other ways. And then eventually, having the patience that I have and I applied it to find other positions, I eventually found the position I wanted originally in the first place. And I actually attacked it and did it before anybody could even blink. I was like, yo, let me get that. And I actually followed all the steps and everything to get to that point and got the position. So originally, the position I was interested in going into the company, I actually got now. And it's way more comfortable than the position that I was in before. And I'm getting more money. And it's more peaceful. And it's more tranquil in terms of the process and everything like that. So I'm chilling, right? And this person asked me the question. He said, how did you get to that position? And I was like, because I had to fail at once to actually get what I actually wanted and not to deal with the bullshit I got to deal with behind. Like, fuck out of here. So I don't know if that question was more of, nigga, how'd you get that shit versus genuinely asking me that question. And then it was followed up by the person saying, oh, because the new people that are in the position that you applied initially for that department that you were going for a promotion for, they're trash. And I was like, I know. But and it was from saying I know, though, it was kind of a position of hating. I didn't want to do that shit. But the track record shows that they're trash. Like the process of what they're supposed to do, they're dishing it off to other people and everything like that. So I'm like, yeah, they're trash, but I didn't want to say it like I'm hating. So in that aspect, even if I didn't come off as hating, it was almost hating to me because it looks like I wanted to get into that position. But that failure turned into a success for me. I had to fail to find out certain things and then go back to win exactly what I wanted. But you see how it twists to a point where I could have been hating because of new people that actually got that promotion instead of me. And I said, I know that they're trash. It's almost like if I was hating. And I had to explain that to the other person. And I had to be like, yo, look, listen, they're probably great people at what they do, but it's just the track record and the evidence that is shown that they're not doing their right job. They're just learning. So they have to get to a point where they master their position, and then they could perform that position at a a great level, but it takes time. But from my position of saying, oh, they're trash, it could have came off as hate, and I had to self-recognize myself at that moment, like, yo, son, why are you saying that shit? They're learning, they're doing their thing. I'm glad for them. And that self-recognition of me hating takes a lot of work, takes a lot of self-reflecting in terms of yourself, because you have to look at yourself first before you talk shit about anybody else. But in that aspect too, in that instance, I wasn't even hating because I had got my position exactly what I wanted, where I wanted and how I wanted it. I got it. So it wasn't even about hating, but I could have came off as hating. So I had to recognize that. And in that instance, I was like, bro, we are all installed with some type of hate in our system. Like, we have to get rid of it. And this is where I get to a question. And this question I apply for you. The question is, did you ever or do you ever ask, how the fuck did this person get that and not me? Again, how did the fuck, and I mean it with a passion, how the fuck did this person get that and not me? I had to learn from young that some things are not meant for you. And the only reason why it's not meant for you is because there's something greater out there. Now, I'm not going to get too religious because I don't want to give you the Christian podcast or anything like that. But what's meant for you is what's meant for you. So a lot of times when you want something and it's not given to you, there's a reason why it's not given to you. Because there's something that's better along the way. You might have just wanted one little thing and you're begging for that one little thing. And sometimes God, he gives it to you because he's like, bro, I had something better for you. But if you want this, you're going to see why I had something better for you in the first place. You're going to appreciate that I gave you what I intentionally wanted to give you in the first place. You're going to appreciate that. But you're going to take this L of the small thing first because that's what you wanted so bad. So a lot of times we're hating on why the fuck did this person get this when we don't even know the circumstance. For example, my cousin had a question to me a long time ago about Instagram marketing schemes. The reason I say marketing schemes because there's a lot of people that have ads where, yo, I made $2 million doing Amazon distribution. This is how I did it. And you could do it too when you sign up to my masterclass. $100 on Thursday. You could definitely learn all the things that I did. The issue with a whole lot of those things is that they already failed in what they were trying to do. Because if they made it with that same process, they wouldn't be showing it to you. They would not show you. People are greedy. They're not going to show you the way that they make money because then you're going to become their competition. So a lot of times they're going, again, going back to the hating part. If they make it, they don't want to see you make it. So they're not going to show it to you. But since they failed and it's a blueprint of something that they tried, they will sell that to you just so you could have the hope of grasping something. So they will sell you a dream. They will sell you things where they'll be like, you don't have to do it through Amazon. You don't have to sell shirts. You don't have to sell clothing. You don't have to sell this. You don't have to do this. All you got to do is follow my steps. Like if you got to be their disciple and you got to listen to them step by step for them because they already failed. They just need the money to get back to what they was doing to recoup their losses and their marketing. Their marketing is basically showing you something lucrative. Yo, I made 2,000 a day type of thing. $2 million a fucking month, and they'll show you a Lambo. They'll show you a whole type of luxury life that they live, and you're like, what the fuck? How does this one motherfucker get to do all these Rolexes, all this jewelry, all these clothes, all these cars? You know what I'm saying? All these houses and mansions and this that, and the fourth. And I don't can't get that shit. And we become haters because we're like, yo, bro, what the fuck? Like, but we don't know the circumstance. Another example is the DJ Envy thing. Like, DJ Envy had like this business where Caesar Pena, I think his name is, and they had this little like real estate kind of scheme where they didn't own the houses, but they was renting or whatever the case is, showing off mad bread, the marketing, showing off bread off of the paper envelopes and shit like that. And they was getting into seminars, $100. You come through, you're gonna get a chance to get this chain, and the chain said Trap Lord, but it wasn't Trap Lord, it was some other shit. They crossed it out. It was some crazy type of thing where they was trying to get off, and look what happened. It was all a scheme, plot and schemes, like I used to say back then. It was all bullshit. Caesar Pena got caught up with the feds for fucking Ponzi scheming motherfuckers. And like, yo, and the whole issue is not, we're not talking about the issue with DJ Envy. The issue we're talking about is the people that are outside looking into that. People that was investing, lost their money. But the people that were outside looking in was hating, was like, yo, son, how the fuck did this nigga get hella bread doing just DJing on the side like this, that, and the fourth? When they don't know the outcome, they don't know exactly what's going on. Look what happened. Wanting a lifestyle that you see is not always the shit that you think it is. It's not as easy as it is. But people will look at it and be like, yo, how the fuck did this nigga got money? You know what I'm saying? How the fuck I didn't get that shit? How the fuck I'm not riding on this? What does it take for me to get to that? And people will take L's and on top of L's, on top of L's, on top of L's, just to go and get that lifestyle. And it's not fair to yourself. It's because you're hating on the fact that that person got it, and now you're copying the same thing that you think that is going to be easy, just like they said it. And people lie. A lot of times they lie. Just to get your money, they will lie their ass off just so you can donate your money to them. And it's donating, because you're never going to get that back. You're only going to get the knowledge that you think that is going to get you successful. And you're hating on that part. And you take action on that hate, which gets you caught up even more, to the point where you're losing yourself and you're losing bread and you're losing your own soul, technically, just to chase something that's not there. But the first part of getting to that point is hating on the lifestyle that somebody else has, hating on others without knowing the circumstances. And to the original point, my cousin asked me that. He was like, yo, how do these people get all this bread? And I can't get that bread. And I'm like, bro, focus on yourself, one, and that's part of the solution. And two, bro, you don't know what these motherfuckers do. These motherfuckers be lying. If they had the whole solution, if they had the whole blueprint, they will not be sharing that with you. Trust and believe. Most of the billionaires that's out there is not sharing how they make billions. And the reason is because there's haters out there that will try to get it without and try to take over their part. So they're going to be greedy enough and keep the secrets in house. They'll give you the general details on how to do it. They'll give you certain things and guide you. And only a true person will give you the whole blueprint. And you won't really find those anywhere. I'm not saying there is somebody out there, there's like a good Samaritan that will show you these things. But most of the time, they view you as competition. And this is also part of hating. Hating is also viewing your people that surround you as competition. That's hating in itself, because you shouldn't even be looking at your own peers as competition. You should be helping each other out with every detail and every step that you know and can share your knowledge with. You could share with them so that they could grow just like they want you to grow as well. But once you see your peers as competition, they're not your peers anymore. But going back to the original point, my cousin asked that question, and I was like, yo, bro, like, Stop looking at other people and focus on your own life. And what he did was he got off of social media because social media can be a good source of hating. Like you're looking at certain people, you're like, yo, how the fuck? Like this person don't do nothing but X, Y, and Z. And they got all this. Like, how the fuck does that happen? And that's a form of hating. Or you're looking at somebody else's lifestyle, you're like, yo, how the fuck they get away with this, that, and the fourth, and they still here, and you know what I'm saying? There's so many forms of hating, which I will go back into the hating competition of looking into yourself, because that's a whole topic there. But I'll go back to that. But he went back on social media and understood that not everything looks real. Everybody puts up a front. Everybody puts up a facade, especially on IG. IG, everything looks perfect. There's not one person I could think of that puts their failures up. They won't only put the successes up there. You see all these people that hit parlays, for example. Parlays, hitting and hitting. Yo, ask them how many times they lost. Ask them how much money they lost. And I promise you, they won't even tell you. I got my homie, I love him to death and whatever the case is, but the nigga only hits me when he hits. He doesn't hit me when he loses. He's like, yo, I won 800. I'm like, yo, how much you lose? And he would laugh. He'd be like, yo, I evened out. But he won't tell me till after I ask him. He would just hit me like, yo, I hit this 5 leg, boo, 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 boo. And I'm like, man, how much you lose, bro? It's not because I'm not happy for him, but it's realistic shit. It's like, yo, bro, I know you betting. I know you hitting a good thing, bro. But what you gonna do with that money? And two, yo, how much you lose to get to that? But this is the facade that people throw up out there. They be like, yo, I hit all this. I've done all that, but never show you the process to get there. One or two, how many losses that they got to get there. And my cousin understood that shit. Yeah, I understand after a sabbatical of being off the social media shit that not everything that glitters is gold. And that's real shit. And he had to understand that. And he finally was like, yo, you got it, bro. Like, I'm like, because you can't concentrate on everybody else's life. You can't be hating on somebody else's life, bro. You have to focus on you. Focus on your own being. Focus on your life. That way you can learn. Now you can learn from other people. That's no issue. But the minute you start envying somebody over what they have, it starts being detrimental to your growth, to your lifestyle. That you're concentrating on somebody else. That you dick riding somebody else basically. And trying to be them. And that's not the purpose of life. The purpose of life is you finding your own purpose. You can learn from people. But the minute you be like, yo, why the fuck does this person got this? And why don't I have that? That's envy, nigga. Like you can't do that, dogs. Like it's always people hating on others without knowing their circumstances. Another example that I have, and I'm spreading my experience part within these examples, is because I want to show you exactly what kind of departments these things go into. So when I was working at my previous company, I always had a question with a certain and the reason I'm laughing at it because it kind of sounds fucked up, but I'm going to tell you anyway because I want you to learn from this. So I had seen where I used to live before I live in my current city. There is a great population of Hindus, Indians, and all that. And I used to ask myself, and this is a part of hand too, I used to ask myself, I'm like, yo, how the fuck do these motherfuckers always have Benzes, Beamers, luxury cars, all that type of stuff, have 15 people in some crib or whatever the case is, and how the fuck do they have all that type of money to spend on the newest iPhone, on newest shit? You know what I'm saying? Most of them obviously had that stereotype of, you know, being cheap and getting deals and all that stuff. We're not going into that. But there are certain ones that the others, there's two sides. There's the cheap side, which everybody knows about. And that's a stereotype. We're going to go into that later on in life or whatever the case is. And then there's the type that has all this bread. Literally mad bread. And they will still probably play that stereotype. But you know that they got their bread because when you go outside, they got the latest BMW M4, the M5. They got the Benz, the C-Class, the G-Class, you know, all that shit. And I used to be like, yo, how the fuck do these motherfuckers have all that and be acting the way that they be acting? Now, Lord forgive me, because I'm just speaking of exactly what I was saying, right? So my previous position before I got into the company I'm in now, like I dealt with all that. And I used to be like in my head, like, yo, how the fuck do these niggas stay fucking copping the latest shit, this, that, and the fourth, but they be acting a certain way, right? So I had this like premeditated thought about them and everything like that, and it was fucked up. It was hate. I was like, bro, like let me get bread for the M4, the M, whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Like, how the fuck do they do that shit? Then one day, my coworker, cool ass dude, and he was from that same ethnicity, and he would be like, "Yo, Ralph, like, let me talk to you for a second." I was like, "Yo, what's up?" And he would be like, "I see that how you handle my people, and you handle them in a very great way. Like, you handle them with such professional, such class, but you also give them stern advice and stern direction. If you can do this, you can do this. If you can't, you can't. Bro, it's this or that. No gray area, none of that." And that's exactly how you got to negotiate with these type of people. And he was like, yes, he was like, yo, I love the way that you handle it. I want to give you some more insight on it so that you can learn and exactly what's going on. So you know how my people began bread? This is exactly how they began bread. So in the family, the father works. He works on the books, collects his money, gets his bread. The mom doesn't change her last name or anything like that. So they technically get married out there, come over here, and legally they don't have to change their last name. So technically they could be single here. So since the mom is single and she is here, she doesn't have to work. So technically what happens is, since she's taking care of kids and not having income, she can collect welfare to pay the bills. She could do Section 8. She could do all that type of government help to get that money. And that money that she is getting is paying the mortgage or rent or whatever is with what their situation is. And the father, whatever money he's getting from his income, he's saving it to get all the money. So technically, the mom is on welfare and Section 8. So she's getting help to cover the house. The father, or whoever the male figure is collecting all this bread. So technically, the government's taking care of the house and the father's just making all the money. So they get to a point where they're wealthy enough to get houses and cars because the one side is covered because they're getting help from the government or stamps, Section 8, welfare, all that type of stuff. And then there's one solo income that's free from all types of stuff. So so for example, the dad could be a Patel, the lady could be a Shah. And they can never track that because technically the lady is single in the United States, but over there they're married. So long story short, the mom takes care of the housing with the government help. The father gets all the bread and shares it with the kids, obviously, and then gets everything. Never marries over here because technically they're married over there. They don't need to recognize it over here. They have different last names so they can't track it. And they're living like hood rich because it's just like with people with Section 8 when you go over there and you see BMWs because people take advantage of that money. And it's the same thing. And my conception of that was like, what the fuck, are you motherfucking kidding me? Like, how man? So when he was telling me this, and I was amazed, and I was like, bro, how am I hating on these niggas when they learned the system and kind of like betray the system? And that's how they make their bread, on some sneaky type of shit. So I'm like, how the fuck am I on here on that? If I go and proceed with that same style, then I'm basically living a bum ass mentality. Like, what the fuck? Like, is that how that shit was? And he was like, yeah, bruh. So I wanted to give you that type of insight because you think that they got it, but they really don't. And so my hating, not even it was hating, I don't even think it was hating, but it had to be a little bit of hate. Was like, bro, like, how the fuck do these motherfuckers have these cars? Like, yo, nigga, I almost like to know. And he let me know. exactly what their process was. And I was like, bro, I don't want to do that shit. When you now know the process of what they do and how they do it, you don't even want to hate on them no more. You're like, yo, I feel bad for them motherfuckers because they have to trick somebody in order to do that, in order to succeed. And that's how they turn out. They turn out to be somewhat dickheads and somewhat privileged and this and the fourth because they think they got it, but they really don't. And we don't know that. So why are we hating on what we don't know? And that is my version of what I was hating on. I was like, bro, like, yo, there's no way that that's the real shit. And he was like, yeah, bro. Like, trust me when I say it. He's from that heritage, so I believed him. And I had to ask around and verify that shit. And that shit was real facts. I was like, well, like, I was hating for no reason because these people are conniving motherfuckers. Hell no. I'm not gonna do that. Like, bro, like, you do your thing. I'm gonna get the Benz and the Mercedes. Excuse me, Mercedes, the Benz and the BMW my own way. Like, hell no, I'm not doing that shit. I was like, bro, fuck. And even so, I don't even want the Benz and Beamer because the maintenance on the motherfuckers is real. So once you hit like a certain amount of mileage, boy, oh boy. But going back to the whole point is that we hate on others without knowing. And when you find out what the process is, you're like, what the fuck was I hating on for? And that's usually the case. That is usually the case where you're like, oh shit, really? That's the facade that we don't look into. We just hand because we like, yo, how the fuck this person get this? Without knowing the process. We have to know the process, understand the process, and look at it. So we looked into how the fuck did this person get that and not me? And we also looked at hating on others without knowing. So what I'm going to get into now is hating on other ideas from your own people. That shit is a crazy topic, and I'm going to get into it now. So like I mentioned before, hating on your own as competition is wild to me. Because if you love somebody truly and deeply, want them to be in your life, you don't want to be competition with that person. You don't want to be first, second, and third. I'm gonna be first as long as you second and third. Like, that's fucking crazy. Like, I don't understand. I never understood that part. But we do that. My own people did that. Like, I gave you an example. I have a clothing line now. It's called BCOG Clothing, Beloved Child of God Clothing. That's what BCOG is for. And I made this a couple years ago. And before that, the idea sprung a couple years behind that from two things. One, I used to Nike idea. I still do to this day. I Nike idea a lot of my sneakers because I just don't like having the same sneakers as somebody else. A lot of times, there's certain kicks that I'll wear because of the rarity or just because of I know there's a chance that somebody won't have them in the street. And if they do, I commend them for that, but I just don't want that. It's just my style. That's how I've been. So I would Nike ID most of my shits. So I always wanted to go into clothing. I was like, bro, if they had Nike ID of clothing or some type of shit, I would do that shit in a hobby just to show off, my creativity and some of my skills that I have and shit. So I already had that custom type of mind. Like, I'm a custom made type of person. So that's one. And then two, one day I was bored at my old job, chilling with my coworker and whatever. And we came up with a whole brand of clothing because we was like, yo, what if we could make clothes concerning certain lifestyles? Like, my man always was smoking piff and all that stuff. So he wanted to make a brand to appeal to that, but not be straight up like mentioning that it was like about marijuana or any type of shit like that. So we was making something veggies. I forgot what it was, but it was something around veggies. But you knew what it kind of represented, but it wasn't that. So it would not only appeal to that crowd, it would appeal to everybody else. But it would be somewhat of a message of, all right, these are blank and veggies or whatever the case is, but this is exactly what this is for. It's a representation of our lifestyles and what we do. I forgot my part, but I knew veggies was part of it. And that was an idea that was brought up a year before I actually initiated the clothing line. Then again, we're going back to the situation where people love to have ideas but never go through with it. So two of my people one day started discussing clothing ideas, and I was like, okay, so what's your ideas? And they had the word beloved in it, because I always say beloved like beforehand, and I said it because of Loaded Lux and everything like that, because they would say beloved. So it was almost like a Harlem thing. So I was like, yo, beloved, to replace the words that come out of my mouth as curses, I might as well say beloved. Beloved is fire. Like you out here like almost preaching like, yo, beloved, this and the fourth. So I said that. I started saying that. Then it got to a bigger thing, and people started saying it as well, and they wanted the idea to go around that. So one of my people brought up a design for it, because he was like, yo, my cousin does graphic design and they could, you know, provide an example, and then we got certain things. And I was like, all right, cool, bring the example. And he brought the example, and the example wasn't to my liking or anything like that. So I really was like, I don't like it. My other people was like, it's not really a good example. And we left it at that, because it really wasn't eye popping or anything like that. So, but the other two instances prior to us getting together to talk about the clothing line or what we are trying to do together was well deeply seated in my mind. And I was like, bro, I have to do this whether y'all are with it or not. And it died out with them. And in that same instance, I was like, bro, all right, cool, I have to do something. So I did my own research. I did my thing where I can get my own website and get my own platform where I can make my own shit, have my shit designed, and have my shit on a shirt or hoodies. Now I'm basically specialized in hoodies almost, because I feel like that's a market now. And basically putting this up together by myself. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna have my own shit. And I even told them, I said, bro, I'm gonna have my own shit. And if y'all still want to do something, we could definitely do that. I just want to get the blueprint of how to do it. And I'm gonna find that out. And I have the knowledge to do it, because I didn't see no action from the other side. So I was like, bro, this has been an idea that's been embedded in my head. I'm gonna make it work. So I told them that, and it was like, okay, that's cool. And I proceeded forward with having my shit, and it's been like almost 2 years of having my shit. Now, the reason I'm telling the story is because between that time when I was designing my hoodies or designing my shirts or whatever the case is, and my shirts was on sale, one of my homies that was in that mix, very supportive, and he actually bought a couple of things, just to show love, because that's the type of person that he is. Like, he shows love and everything like that, and he wants, to show nothing but love. And that's perfect. You in those situations when you start up something, that's what you need to keep going. It's a support. And it's support that's authentic, that comes from the heart, that, yo, my nigga, you doing your thing. Yo, you know what? I fucks with you. Yo, let me see what I can do with this. Even though if I don't fuck with it, whatever the case is, I'm gonna tell you, because I'm a person with constructive criticism. I'm gonna be like, yo, listen, I really don't like this situation, but I'm gonna show my love for this and the fourth. Because you put that aside, you could tell somebody you don't like something, but you could still support it. You could still be like, yo, I support you. If you need anything, let me know. So my one homie did that. And I salute him. And whenever he starts his rug shit, like, I'm gonna be the first one to be like, yo, let me get a rug. Yo, I want this design on there. You know what I'm saying? Because this is reciprocal love. Reciprocal, if I even saying it correctly, love. We reciprocating that love. You know what I'm saying? You show the support. Yo, I'll make sure you get up too, the way I got up. You know what I'm saying? So that was the one homie. Then the other one was a little bit different. So yes, they showed love, same thing, whatever the case is. They didn't support or they didn't buy anything, whatever. But there was a difference in and reactions. The first homie would get his shit sent to the crib because I had it set up that way. I got my own shop and everything, got my own site that you could buy your shit from or whatever. And one day he tells me, he's like, y'all, he received this shit on the front door. And the second homie was like, what the fuck is this shit? And throws this shit to the, I guess he seen it at the door. And he was like, yo, what the fuck is this shit? Get this shit the fuck out of here. And throws it to, to my first homie. And he's like, yo, what the fuck? And he just was like, man, hey, yo, you bought that shit? Get that corny shit the fuck out of here. Like, I was like, man, wow. Like, like I said, I get constructive criticism. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Let me know how you don't like it. If you're gonna show support, if you like, not even that you like, you don't have to like anything. But if you boys with somebody and you have that type of sentiment, yo, let somebody know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it doesn't look good on this or it doesn't look good on that. If you true homies, if you true people like that, you will let somebody know, bro. Like, I don't fucks with that shit. The reason why I don't fucks with this shit is because of X, Y, and Z. Because this represents God or this represents this, and I don't fucks with that shit, and it looks whatever. I respect that. And then somebody else telling me your reaction on shit to where you're kind of like throwing shit. I'm like, bro, like that's stupid. Like, let me know that you don't. And he's that type of person that will let me know exactly how he feels and does not give a fuck about it. But if you had that sentiment, you could have told me like, yo, bro, like this is not wavy. This ain't cool. Like, but to say that about somebody else supporting, bro, that's wild. Like, to me, I'm like, and again, going back to my brother that says, to me, that shows that you got some type of hate in your blood or something that bothers you for you to do that. And it shows a lot from that person. So I kept mental notes and I was like, I bet. Like, there's certain things I'm like, yo, okay. With that same person, I remember one day that we was chilling, and this is when I had a whole brotherhood, a whole bunch of gang of people together and everything like that. And now sometimes life can show you that different people aren't for you. So we got together one day, and now we was all chilling. Most of my inner circle now was in that gathering, and they was going around talking about how great people were. And my first homie started talking about his life and everything, and how I did certain things, and I don't like. Not even that I don't like. I When I hear like praise or something like that, or I hear something that's great about me, and there's a whole aura of greatness about me, like I barely want to hear it, and the reason is because I want to stay as humble as possible, and I want to be as humble as I can be because I don't want anything in that light to confuse me with being like arrogance or any type of boasting, because that's not me. I don't want to be somebody to be like, yeah, I did that and this, that, and the fourth, and praise me and shower me with shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm more of a person of I thank you for the praises and everything like that, and I keep it moving because I don't want that to blow my head or anything like that. And I don't want to influence anything in your life that's skewed if I'm there. Like, I want you to talk. Like, if you're going to praise me like if I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? So I stepped out. I was like, bro, I'm starting to hear like stories about what I done and everything like that. And I stepped out because I was like, bro, like, it's not because I didn't want to hear it or anything like that. It's just that I need to stay humble in my own soul, in my own mind, in my own way. So I stepped out, and it became a flower giving session of me basically. And I'm not saying this to toot my horn. I'm not saying this. I'm using this as an example. So, but I basically was stepped aside, and the circle was still talking about the things that I've done and everything, the accomplishments and achievements and the holding down of people and all that shit, right? So various people stepped in, they said this, that, and the fourth, giving it flowers and everything like that. And it got to a point where it was just embracing love and everything like that. And I still was outside of the I was just washing dishes, to be honest with you. I was trying to do something to not go into that and shower myself with that, because like I was trying to keep myself as humble as possible. And then I hear a voice saying, "But what about me?" And it was like, what? Like, what the fuck? What? Like, and people were laughing because it was like, what? Like, yo, we was talking about this and that and the fourth, and you stepped in, like, what kind of shit? Like, and it was like almost like an awkward moment of like, my nigga, you was there, but you wasn't there. And they remember that, and it was like awkward, and it was like we was talking about positive shit and everything like that. And it's almost like, and what about me was like almost jealousy. Like, what? Like, I know you want to be recognized. It's cool. Everybody wants recognition. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly normal. But if you ain't put in the work or you wouldn't be there, you know what I'm saying? You get to hear these stories of positivity and you get to hear these stories about uplifting, and you just want to shower. You want that shower to be on you, and you're reacting that way. So there's a couple of things that I like I said, mental notes. I peep games. So a lot of times what I do is I keep these things in mind, and I'm like, is they hating? Is it because I don't know, like, do they have a certain thought process of how they think about me? I'm not too sure. But it's those situations where you talk about it and you speak about it out loud, like I'm talking about it now. This shit sounds a little fucked up. And that's supposed to be your mans, your homies, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you're like, yo, how the fuck do you think like that? But you don't tell me those type of things. Like, come on, like, let's be for real. So PSA, public service announcement. Anything I speak on this type of shit or any of the episodes before, I can tell you in your face, I'm cool with speaking on this. But this is about those two situations could be viewed as hating in that aspect. You hating on your own people. And that's crazy. Like, that, for what? I don't want to be a competition. I want to help you. And a lot of times I think in that situation, they think I'm being arrogant by being there or knowing these things and sharing this with the world because I have so much knowledge or whatever the case is. I'm talking how they would think. I even know now that it's like that I made this podcast and everything like that. I know motherfuckers is hating on this shit too, because it's like, bro, everybody talks again. Everybody talks their ideas and everything like that and never bring it to light. When I bring it to light, yo, why the fuck he doing it? Why he not doing with his people? Why he not doing this with this? Why he not doing that? It's just hating on in general. Like, I'm like, bro, to be honest, I address these things now because I want to show y'all how many departments of hating there is. Like, shit is wild, crazy. Like, for another example, when I got my degree, well, my 2 degrees actually. When I got my 2 degrees and I went back to my old neighborhood and everything like that, there was a comment that was made. It was like, oh, he got his shit and he's still here. And I'm over here working at X, Y, and Z and I'm still, doing my thing. I'm like, what the fuck does that got to do with anything? Now, I'm eventually, since I have this setup now, I can go wherever the fuck I want. And I did. And the person that said that was still in this situation even after I left, even after I did millions of things and everything like that. But to say that about somebody that got their shit, that shit's crazy. Like, I don't understand when somebody has an accomplishment, you will have a backwards compliment towards that. That's basically saying that, okay, You didn't do it in your 50, 45, 50, 60 years of your life, but you hate on somebody that's 30. That's fucking crazy. Like, bro, be happy that somebody had the opportunity to do their thing and went to that route and accomplishing that route. You can accomplish in your route however you feel like it. We're not gonna knock you because you're doing the other route or everything like that. Like I told you before in previous episodes, everybody has a different route. Everybody has a different way of going and succeeding in life. That doesn't mean you gotta knock the next person because they're doing X, Y, and Z. Eventually, from that story, I went to move on to different places and everything, got different things and everything like that. And the other person is just the other person. And it's not, I'm not hating on them for that, but it was the statement of like, oh, they did this and I'm still doing this. Oh, but they gonna stay here. Like basically telling me that I'm still here and I had to do all that. And eventually I dipped out, did my thing, all that stuff. And I'm like, bro, there's no reason. And that's why certain people, and this is where I'm going to environmental trauma, probably next, is that when you come from the hood or you come, nah, I don't want to say the hood. Let's admit things. The suburban area that was kind of a rural area that has, I think, the Abbott program or whatever the case is. The urban area where there's a lot of Hispanics that reside there have almost the same mentality of I'm gonna stay there forever and I'm gonna work, go, be young, have kids, have a family. I'm done. That's usually the case. And then have the nerve to talk shit about somebody that's actually trying to do something for themselves. They're trying to be better. They're trying to get out of that situation and live a better life. Like, people got the audacity to do that. And that's why people be hating. When you go back to where you from or your hood or whatever the case is, for me, for my example, I got called Hollywood because I was like, yo, and that's where I got the nickname from. Because more than one person, so one person called me Hollywood because it was like, bro, you got 2 degrees, your pinky about to be up and shit like that, and now you about to be out here not knowing shit. So they called me Hollywood off of that shit. That was one person. The second person that called me Hollywood is because he's like, this nigga came back, don't know nobody. He over here got this, that, and the fourth, and now he about to be Hollywood. He don't know no. It's the same repetitive thought process of when people stay in their environment. And like I said, I'm gonna go into this later on in like episodes and stuff like that about environmental trauma and other things and like that. And they just go into a process where they're like, oh, bro, this man, how the fuck is he over here? Why is he over here? Man, we over here chilling. Yo, fuck, yo, you left dip, like, you know what I'm saying? Don't come back here. Man, fuck what you got. That's basically what it is. So I got somewhat of that nickname because of other people calling me that shit. And I was like, nigga, I embrace it. Because I got out of a situation where I didn't want to be in and proceeded to live my own life and got in my own things. You know what I'm saying? So then in the same avenue, people will be hating because I'd rather defend right and wrong and not defend loyalty. And this is where it gets interesting because people don't like accountability or like when people choose truth over loyalty. And they hate on that part. And they say certain things. I'm like, bro, why the fuck are you hating on the right and wrong? You want me to choose stupidity over that shit. And they say certain things that I'm like, bro, why are you hating? Cause why you hating on the truth? That's crazy. So I got a third homie that he is very strong and opinionated on female issues. So there was plenty of debates that we had, and he's also a motherfucker that we was trying to do a podcast, all that shit, but no, like I said again, and I keep repeating it, nobody wants to take action in things, but wants to give all the ideas up in the world. So every time we have these debates about men versus women or any female issues, anything like that, the man almost takes like a misogynistic manner in certain things. And me, I'm a truthful. I'm not gonna be one side versus the other. I'm gonna ride with the truth, like, because that's the truth. You can't beat the truth. Whichever side you on, whatever's truthful, it is what it is. So I don't remember the topic, but there was one point I was like, yo, bro, you kind of borderline misogynistic, dogs. Like, bro, you gotta chill and relax, dog. Whoever did you dirty, bro, we gonna have to talk about it. And the man went off on me through like a group chat or DM tweet about, yo, I don't know why the fuck you can't just ride for niggas and this, that, and the fourth. You always gotta be fucking playing both sides. Like if you this, that, and the fourth. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what if? And it went like a whole paragraph explaining on why I was so soft on my position when I could just be a man and deal with it and this, that, and the fourth. And I was like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about, dogs? If you don't like my position, you don't like my position. I'm cool with that. But the fact that you want to basically tell me, yo, this is a man space, bro, act like a fucking man is wild. And after that, it was like, yo, those debates were over because I'm like, bro, I'm not about to debate on somebody that's trying to dominate somebody. That's crazy. Like, that's not somebody that I want to debate on. I'd rather for you to be like, yo, if we're going to have a debate, we're going to have a healthy debate. You have your side, I have mine, cool. But the fact that you say that shit as a man to tell another man to act like that shit is almost testing your livelihood, testing your manhood. And it's not something that I expected somebody of that caliber to tell me that shit. And I'm like, bro, like, dog, you're mad because I'm telling you the truth about yourself. But you attack my character because, so that was embedded in you. And it came out because that instance triggered for you to say that shit. So that was embedded in you. So that you said that shit, I was like, bro, what the fuck? All right, cool. Like, we still cool to this day, whatever the case is. We all on some weird shit. Everybody's on some weird shit. All those people that I put on some weird shit, they're on the bench. They're not even on the bench. They on the other side, bro. And to be honest, keep that same energy on the other side. I love you motherfuckers, but keep that same energy will be a fucking topic that I will speak on. And that I will go more into. But again, I love you motherfuckers, but stay on that side, dogs. Because there's a lot of things that almost borderline seems like y'all hating on motherfuckers. And to be honest with you, I don't need that energy. Again, I'm going to speak on the keep that same energy type of thing. But it's almost on that energy of like, yo, y'all don't like certain things. And it is okay. But it's almost like borderline hating on certain things. And that's not okay to me. I feel like if you have that type of energy, bro, don't even bring it my way, dogs. For real, because I don't need hate in my life, yo. I need the love and embracing of my people that give me that every single day, and I'm loving them for that. But I don't need any type of hate, bro. And this is why my circle has died down and diminished to a certain amount of people because once you have that energy, bro, you don't even need that close to you, dog. It affects your livelihood. It affects your mind space. It affects your peace. Like, you don't need none of that shit. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Again, we're going into, and I'm giving my experiences within all these examples because I can't give you my experience as a whole. These departments have all experiences. So I'm giving you all that shit. For example, there was a hating ass comment that I heard a long time ago. I think it was a couple years ago, where some of the people got together and shit like that. And they was like, bro, we haven't seen you in a while. This, that, and the fourth. You've been chilling with this one nigga. Da, 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 da. I don't know why you chill with us, bro. Like, that's fucking crazy. Like, this, that, and the fourth. I'm like, who the fuck is y'all niggas talking about? Like, yo, y'all niggas is tripping. Y'all niggas acting weird because, boy, that is wild. Now, I know people have concerns about chilling with people. I'm cool with that. Like, I'm cool with somebody coming up to me and be like, yo, you've been MIA. Where the fuck have you been type of shit. And even on that part, people have the right to disappear due to their personal life and all that shit. When you get berated time and time again, you're like, what the fuck? Why are you entitled to my time like that, bro? That shit is wild. Like, y'all coming at me crazy. Like, and this one motherfucker had the nerve to tell me, yo, but you be chilling with your cousin. I'm like, what? You always chilling with your cousin. Like, you out here, you know, with your cousin and this, that, and the fourth. You don't hit niggas. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? I can't chill with my own family and shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, yo, I told you, the whole situation gets weird, bruh. When you are hating on the fact that a person is chilling with their family, that shit is wild. That shit is to a point where it's like, bro, like, yo, you need some help, dogs. Like, that cannot be your point of reason on why you acting this way. And yeah, that was one of the points. I'm like, yo, bro, you gotta be kidding me. And then eventually it just spiraled over where it went, one side went one way and another side went another. And then it was just like, fuck it. Like after it shit got weird, shit got crazy, like I was like, but there was no reason why you should be hating on the fact that I'm chilling with my blood, my people. Like, it's fucking wild. Like, that's crazy. Like, I don't. People hate over the stupidest shit. And that was. If somebody came up to you, ask yourself this question. I want you to position yourself. If somebody came up to you and was like, yo, bro, why you chilling with your own blood? Like, your own cousin, whoever your favorite person is, whoever one of your favorite people is, and it was like, yo, bro, yo, but you be chilling with your other people. Like, yo, bro, why can't you chill with us? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, yo, oh my God. Like, you have, you know that person is important to you and you're over here hating because I'm chilling with the important person in my life. That's fucking crazy. Like, for that, dog, if you jealous about it, yo, at least admit that you jealous about it. Tell me that you, I respect you a lot more for that. But the fact that you would say that type of dumb shit, this is why people be hating on different things. And yeah, I'm I'm in disbelief even saying that shit out loud because it sounds crazy. Like, still talking about dumb shit. Then there is the category of hating men towards women, or women towards men. Like women hating on men for the example of when that Megan the Stallion thing with Tory Lanez thing happened, and a man would say something crazy, like not crazy, but like somebody would be like, "Yo, they don't have enough evidence to convict Tory," and the woman would destroy the person that say that shit because people get behind certain people. And yes, in that situation, it's very delicate because somebody did get injured, somebody did get shot, whatever the case is. And even so, the evidence doesn't show that she got shot, like deadly shot, like, you know what I'm saying? But she got shot by like the side of like the heel type of shit, or by the ankle, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like crazy. For him to get 10 years out of it, it was a little. But they will destroy the life out of me if I put this on IG or whatever the case is, which I will. I don't give a fuck. So, you know, not saying that Tory's innocent or anything like that, or Meg's innocent like that. It's just the evidence was inconclusive for me in terms of that statement. But anybody that says that type of shit is inconclusive in a sentence about that situation towards Megan, bro, they was on your ass. They'll be hating on everything that you say after that shit. And that shit is stupid. I feel like that's dumb. If you won't state something with proven facts. Don't be just hating just because somebody feels a certain way. And that's a sample of women hating towards men. There's the men hating on women part, where the example is Boosie talking about Brittany Renner's body count. Nigga, why should that even matter to you? I mean, they ask you the question and stuff like that. They asked him, would you be with that type of woman? And he said, nah, bro, I'm not going to have somebody with that body count. She had like 3 niggas in one day and she got 35 bodies. I ain't with that shit. And blase, whatever the case is. And motherfuckers in the comment section will be hating on her. Be like, yeah, she dirty. She this, that, and the fourth. I'm like, bro, if Brittany Renner went up to you, same motherfuckers, you wouldn't be talking that hot shit. I promise you. That's what I'm saying. Like, both sides, if you think about both sides, like, yo, people be hating on some of the stupidest shit. Like, you hating on Brittany Renner's body count. It's fucking wild. Like, bro, that girl lives her life. Let her do what the fuck she want. And in terms of the men commenting on Meg, them motherfuckers can say what the fuck they want. There's no reason that I should be hating on the fact. If they don't got the evidence, they look stupid. Leave them alone, man. They like, yo, this shit is, yo, hate comes from all sides, all types of ways. And the reason I provided those two examples is because people hate on some stupid shit. They always hating on some dumbass shit. They always doing some stupid shit. They always saying, and it's because the internet allows it. Now you could troll and hate on whoever the fuck you want. There's no consequence. Back then it was different. But I provided all these examples to get to a point that hate is everywhere. And the fact to conquer that is to look within yourself and not focus on anything else but you. That is the whole point of these long conversations. To focus narrowly on you. No one else. Not the person next door. Not the person you seen on IG. Not your idol. And even that, like, I learned in these ages to not idolize anybody but the person that you believe in. For me, it's Jesus Christ. For me, it's God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit is what I believe in. I ain't idolizing nobody else that's fucking, because everybody's human, you know what I'm saying? And in the human, you have the capability of hating. So again, nobody else but you. Focus on you. Focus on the stuff that you gotta do. It doesn't matter if a person has a Lambo. It doesn't matter if they have a Benz. Doesn't matter if they have a mansion and everything like that. You have your goal in life. You have your mission in life to succeed. You have your own purpose in life. Fulfill that. Also, don't look at your people as competition. Look at your people as family, as blood, as people that you love. Give them help whenever they need it. They're not your competition. They're not somebody you fighting your spot for. You're not fighting one of the 144,000 spots in heaven. Like, that in heaven cannot be restricted to 144,000 people. That's crazy from the Jehovah Witnesses. But in basically saying, like, yo, you're not fighting your own blood and your own people that you love for a spot at something. A spot in obtaining something, a spot in achieving something. You're not fighting that. To be honest, it's the best thing that you could do is help others and help them grow. Like, that's the best thing possible. It's not only that you succeed yourself, but you're helping others succeed. By the beacon of light that you're being, I just talked to my brother about this today. Like, we are beacons of light towards other people, and we want to make sure that we help everybody out. Now, there's a whole nother topic within that we'll talk later, but you got to be the beacon of light to help others. So doing that does not put you in the position of being in competition with anybody else. There is no competition, yes, because you're only competing with yourself. And the people that are around you, you're helping them grow within their position so that they could compete with themselves better as well. And then each and every individual that you help grow, they learn from that and they can achieve greater things because they're just focused on themselves and they're focused on winning and they're focused on getting it. So have that tunnel vision within yourself to achieve what you want. Now you could learn and go and look at the aspects of life from outside to learn from those mistakes or those lessons that's from the outside to better your position. But there should be no competition with anybody else. You should be on your own path to life, achieving things and learning from bumps on the road and celebrating your wins and everything like that. Have that focus on your purpose, basically. When you hating on others, you can't focus on yourself. You are your own worst enemy, technically. So you can have insecurities, you can have plenty of things going through your head that makes you doubt yourself. Like I said, you're your own worst enemy. You can control your own life and you can be positive. You can be that beacon of life. You could turn into that by taking control of your life and defeating those. So you got to work on it. Whether it's therapy, whether it's work on yourself, whether it's believing in the things that you believe in to conquer those things, conquer those insecurities, conquer those doubts in your head. You can do it. That's the first thing is when you focus on yourself, you can attack each and one of those things that's affecting your life. Once you can do that, you could take full possession of your life and become that beacon of light so that when others get to that point, you can help them out with that. And it grows into a nice family or loving tree that people would want to be around and want to be that type of thing. So fuck all that haterade shit. Fuck all sipping on that bullshit that people be on, because people just love to be on it because I feel like it's easy. So people will hate because it's easier to do. When you want to be good, it's harder. That's a whole nother topic that we're gonna talk into. Oh, excuse me, we're gonna get into later on. But it's easier to hate on people, to talk shit about people, to wish them bad or whatever the case. It's easier that comes out the mouth than is it to talk about good things about people and doing good about people and being there for people. It's harder. It's harder because I don't think that life is designed that way. We have to earn our stripes. We have to earn our little wings when we get to heaven. So it's harder for us to be good, and then it's easier to be bad. So we, as people, have to understand that and have to take the high road. And that high road is being good and not hating, not being stupid, not being fucking, not even hating on the internet or type of shit. Every little decision you make is a win or loss. And you go through those every single day. Any decision that you make, I think you make like 70,000 decisions a day. Make sure that most of them are wins. Make sure you focus on you and make sure you stop hating. Work on that. That being said, my voice is gonna go. So I'm dipping. The next episode will be environmental trauma. It'll be the hood shit. What comes from the hood type of thing and what experiences can come from that environment and the traumas that come from it. Unless something super spicy comes through, which I feel like I think this was a little spicy. This had a little ting to it. But if anything else spicier that comes through, I'm definitely going to do it. But I think environmental trauma is next, because I think that has to be spoken on more often. I think not only towards the pod that I have, I feel like it needs to be talking across all avenues, because people need to hear the origins and need to understand that. So I will make sure I get some like cough medicine or something like that, because I've been talking out my tail, dogs. I'm working on the video part of it. I'm gonna try to talk to some people to see if they could hop on. I know my cousin want to hop on and ask his questions and everything like that. I know a couple other people are interested too. So I'm gonna try to work on that, and hopefully that this was just like the other three, as impactful as it is. If you have any questions, any concerns, any type of thing, hit me, because I know some of these subjects got a little twang to it. A little, when you get hit with the, not even the, because it's always sauce, but you get hit with the spicy barbecue, you don't even know it's spicy. That's exactly what these things are. What I can say, and this is my last thought before I dip, because my voice is going out, I'm coughing like a motherfucker. So what I can say is this: anybody that has any issues about these things, we have a table that we can sit, have a nice dinner, and speak on these. I want people to understand that these things are used for people to learn lessons in life, to stop doing the things that they're doing if they're detrimental to them. So if you have any issues, any concerns, any type of motherfucking thing that you want to get off your chest, I have a table, dogs. We could sit across, and this goes out to not only the people that I talked about on this. This goes out to anybody that has any gripe, any issue, anything like that. Like, I want to have a conversation. I want to open up the floor. Not only for you to express your grievances, but also, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let me know. Because I feel like we need these conversations in life. This is why I'm doing this, because I want to make sure that these conversations go out there so that you can learn and understand. And sometimes it could take these conversations to get to a conversation to where we can start to understand each other and break the ice and sit in the table and be like, yo, I'm sorry I did this. I apologize I did that. I have a table. I have, and I'm saying a table, I'm saying a figurative table. Because I always had a table, but I always had a table, but I want to make sure that if I'm aligning myself to forgive each and every person for their grievances, I want the same opportunity. If you feel like you need to bring something up to me, I'm here. I want to offer that peace offering to anybody that feels like they need to have that peace offering or the discussion with me. I'm available. I have all my platforms. You can hear me and everything like that. That being said, stop hating on people. Focus on yourself. Focus on you. Be good. God bless. And we out of here. Infinite Sauce Talk, episode 4. Sipping on that Haterade. Holla.